Hey, good morning. And something that I rarely do these days, but don't do much of, doing a little quick review of Money in the Bank, and I'm going as is. If you're wondering why, I'm actually at work right now, and it's kind of house rules right now. If you're here working, you gotta put a mask on, whether you're sick or not. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Anyway, as I'm walking around, I watched last night's Money in the Bank with my man Prince GMO and with L'Oreal, and I gotta say, it was a decent card. I wouldn't say it was knock your socks off, but I've seen a lot worse. Couple of the matches I kind of questioned, but it was okay. It was what it was. Let me give a quick recap. The New Day, of course, retained the SmackDown tag titles against Miz, Morrison, Lucha House Party, and them dudes call themselves the Forgotten Sons, almost like Sons of Anarchy rejects. The match was decent, but I have to say, at no time did I feel like there was any danger of the New Day losing their titles. To be quite honest, they kind of been WWE's one of their more dependable cash cows the last few years. And really, there's nobody else as far as the tag teams go that's marketable enough to really run with those belts at this point. And so adjust the camera here. There we go. Okay, it's already set. Anyway, here I go back inside. Whew, it's cold this morning. But New Day retained their belts, no big surprise. Bayley retaining the SmackDown belt from Tamina Snuka. Let's be honest, Tamina was just a body. She was just a body. Somebody for Bayley to fight, to keep her occupied for the eventual split up of Sasha Banks and Bayley. Now, I know some people are banking on, Sasha turning heel and this and that, which I don't get where that's coming from, honestly. Because if you look at, for the most part, during this whole thing, Bayley's been the one that's been more heelish. So, where people are getting that Sasha Banks is going to go heel and stuff. No, at this point, with the way people feel about her at this point, they ain't going to turn that girl heel. Not full blown. If anything, she's going to be either an anti-hero or a cocky face, akin to The Rock. She's either going to be an anti-hero like an Austin was back in the day, or she's going to turn into a cocky face, which I think a cocky face at this point would actually fit her better than a full-blown heel. Even though I do agree she does do the heel thing the best. But anyway, the match in itself was decent. It was decent. Sasha Banks, of course, aids Bayley in retaining her SmackDown Women's Championship. And I must say, Tamina, good grief, girl. I mean, we all get older. We try to take care of ourselves best we can. Some people, it's easier than others. But Tamina, I mean, some people might call her Tamana, which, whatever, she is a female. But with Tamina, I mean, go back and look at pictures from 2010, 2011. I was talking to the guys who was watching this last night. Go back and look at those pics, man. Look at pictures of her back then. That woman used to be kind of sexy. I mean, some people might not believe that, but no, seriously. Go back and look at 2010, 2011. That woman used to be kind of sexy. She was never the prettiest thing, though I would hardly call her ugly. But she actually used to be kind of sexy back then. At least from the neck down, anyway. But man, over the years, woo. I mean, she's still a talented performer, but yeah, I think her ship has sailed as far as being a champion. If they were ever going to pull that, they should have pulled it back in 2011 when Beth Phoenix was holding that butterfly trans stamp belt known as the Divas title. May it rest in hell. But anyway, going on to another match. It was scheduled to be MVP versus Bobby Lashley. I mean, no, MVP versus R-Truth, but then Bobby Lashley came down and told, hey, MVP, you got the night off. Then MVP, after, which I must admit, a previous segment, oh my God, the trade-off between R-Truth and MVP was hilarious. MVP particularly ripped poor R-Truth to shreds on the mic. Oh my goodness. But anyway, that's for the match itself. Nothing to scream about. Bobby Lashley pretty much squashes R-Truth in a short amount of time, which he should. But then the interview after he got his behind whooped by Bobby Lashley, he starts talking incoherently about getting the 24/7 title back from Tom Brady. Of course, the guy that actually holds it right now is the Gronk, who happens to be Tom Brady's former teammate with the New England Patriots in real life. So, could that lead to something involving Tom Brady? Who knows? But now, to the Money in the Bank matches. Oh, before I forget, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. Prince complained that the match went a little long for his taste, but I come from that era where championship matches, especially world title matches, were pretty long. I come from that era, so the length didn't bother me that much. I actually thought it was a pretty good match. The ending, I'm not sure how I feel about the whole handshake thing. I didn't actually have a big problem with it, but my man had a huge problem. If he does his own review of this, he'll probably mention that he had a huge problem with the handshake at the end. He said, nah, Unc. That's what he calls me. He said, nah, Unc. Seth should have kicked him in the balls and then took the belt and hit him upside the head. Why are you doing this handshake stuff? Come on. Quite hilarious, actually. But anyway, Drew retains the title there. Then we get to the Money in the Bank ladder match segments, that's what I was waiting on. Screw the rest of this card. What I wanted to see was how they did Money in the Bank this year. And I gotta say, it was entertaining. I will give it that. It definitely gets an A for entertainment. Now, as for the outcome, now on the women's side, Asuka, no, I ain't got no issue with her winning. I ain't got no issue. Since the one that we wanted to win wasn't even in the match, and that was Sasha Banks, we was like, okay, we expect Shayna Baszler to win, but who we would rather see win is Asuka. Turns out that's who they went with, which was quite awesome. But on the men's side, we were all like, what the hell? They had big old country, which I actually like Otis, but they had big old country Otis win the briefcase basically on a fluke. When AJ, who actually had the briefcase, before he could get a firm grip on it, drops the thing, and it lands right in Otis's hands, and Otis claims the briefcase. Basically won it on a fluke. Ugh. Oh, my God. I mean, I like Otis, and I realize Vince McMahon is big on him, and it's really pushing them, and even writing some of the storyline with him and Mandy Rose. But what are you gonna do with him? When you look at Otis, do you see world title contender? I don't. I'm like, look, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Aleister Black. I don't even like Baron Corbin, but I would have even been okay with him winning it. But going back to the women's with Asuka winning it, oh, we was happy as hell that she won. We was happy as hell that she won. We thought that was awesome. Plus, they made her, the way they wrote her character for this match, they made her basically the smartest woman on the freaking planet. Basically, as soon as the match started, she did one move off the balcony, jumped on all the women. Then she jumped in the elevator. And basically, except for a few times to stop the fight, she basically kept going up and up and up. She didn't stop the brawl. Smartest woman on the freaking planet. I was like, yeah. And there's one other thing. They make Baron Corbin look like a dumbass a little bit. Why the heck was he stopping Asuka from getting her briefcase? I'm like, you an idiot. You was right up there with her. Technically, she wasn't even in your match. She was trying to get her briefcase. If anything, you should have been helping her. But anyway, he ends up getting kicked off. The freaking ladder. And to be honest, he may have cost himself the match doing that. Which I was like, really, Baron? Really? But overall, I thought the match was pretty good. I thought it was entertaining. And doing it cinematic style like they did, especially considering this pandemic right now, where they can't have live crowds, because ladder matches work better when you got live crowds. But doing it this way was the next best thing. And I thought it was hilarious. No commentary for it. I thought was a smart move, too. So overall, I would give this thing maybe a C plus, a B minus at best. This was a decent card. It's a decent watch. And before I go, I gotta talk about the elephant in the room. The news that came down last night about Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto El Patron, whatever you want to call him, getting arrested basically for sexual assault and battery. I mean, if the reports I read are true, and even a third of this come out true, Mr. Alberto Del Rio, you might be a naturalized citizen of the United States, but you about to learn what that justice system does to, let's just say non-members of the dominant group. I hate to sound pro-blackish, but got to tell it like it is. And on top of that, in terms of wrestling, you might be all accomplished and stuff, but homeboy, if even a half of what comes out, even a third of what comes out is true, you deserve whatever jail time you get if it comes out to be true. And I got a feeling you're about to get the Chris Benoit treatment. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Let me get on back to work. Get some TV stuff on the air. I'm out.